And we're still getting legal advice about the process for doing that. We have several other PUDs that are some much older than yours that
Handouts.
are just sitting
There's,
there.
the
So,
agenda.
for example, if someone wants to do something in Shadow Ridge, we've got to pull out the original plat map that was there, they go through 4 inches of file to make sure
Lonely
there's
this
no
week,
minerals.
What's that?
Lonely this week?
So,
Cause I have a whole lot of papers here on that. so-
Actually,
I have a quick.
it's much better when Aaron's here.
Was there ever a sales brochure for Shadow Ridge?
I don't know, I've only lived there a year and a half.
Oh, you would know, it'd be someone that has been there for almost 20 years that would have seen something
Well,
like that.
let's see, I don't know anybody who's been there that
15?
long. See, the 2 oldest houses have long since been sold to other people.
And
Recording in progress.
Kid shot.
Yeah. So, that's right, Kit would know. Here she is.
Hold on, let me share my screen.
We have this mug at our house, that's a coffee mug that we
Yes.
just love. We were in Moab a number of years ago with several people on a trip, and our son and his wife came.
Yep.
It was cold, it's March. And so Katie runs over to my husband, Jim, and she says, "Oh, would you take our picture with your phone?" So Jim took Katie's phone, took off his gloves, stuffed them under his chin, and he's trying to take your picture on their phone, and he taps it and hands Katie the phone back, says, "I don't know what this picture looks like." Well, she just fell down laughing.
Hey Leslie,
Hey,
how are you?
hey, he taking a selfie.
Oh gosh.
So she thought it was so funny, she had to put on a mug. So we have a mug, in our house. Great, this is not mine, I just reading it surreptitious.
Yes, well, you're in big trouble now.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Melanie, could I get a agenda hard copy?
Oh,
Yes.
I think I have 2.
Do you
Wait,
want the whole?
I have 2,
Okay,
never mind,
I'm good, thank you.
I'm prepared. So I'm sorry,
Somebody else is coming?
Shirley,
Yeah, Kristen and Bob will be here, otherwise we can't go.
Otherwise,
otherwise it's right out.
I'm sorry, there's no meeting.
I can do Bob. Me again. So there's some other PDOs that do the same.
That are in a similar condition. Some of those go back to the 1960s.
I'm wondering if that's the one. Gosh, what's her name? She used to be the OEM director. Great Bucky, she used to head of search and rescue. I can't think of her name. Anyway, she used to own the land around the West Cliff Inn.
Cindy Howard?
Yes.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's one of them where since it's essentially.
No, no, it's the Vindy Park and Adams, 501 and Adams 502.
Since you live in the Adams edition.
Yeah, I live very close to it. When I was there before the second.
Which one do you live?
I live at the corner of Cherry and Adams. Just, you take Adams across Chloride Gulch and,
Is it the roundhouse
no, I'm right next to the roundhouse,
to the east
to the west,
in the 2-story?
and a 1-story. With a very mature trees.
On the corner of Adams and Cherry, okay, I know what you, yes. Cause I used to live on. Not that. Oh, right behind it. The 2-story, you have to beige.
Yeah. Bob, hey Bob,
There he is, Bob. I haven't seen you in a while.
I haven't seen you, hey, I've been
Yeah.
around.
How you been? Are you good? Your hands are good.
Leslie's here to make us legal.
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
I'm really just a substitute, but it's okay. You have to have substitutes. I go back to my.
Oh, this is. Or is it someplace?
Not yet. Dave,
Oh, that's, I'm sorry, Dave.
Yeah.
I think about motorcycles.
just don't call me late for lunch.
Yeah.
Call me anything.
Did Dave tell you how we met?
Mhm.
Tell him how we met.
You tried to run me off the road.
Oh.
I was going too slow and he zipped by me on his BMW and, I was like, slow down there, man.
Were you on your bicycle, Dave?
I was on a Beamer as well.
We're headed beyond.
We were going to the rally.
Carousel.
No, don't wear my shirt.
Oh, yeah.
No, we're gonna be out of town for,
Oh,
you know,
Yeah.
we don't go every year, we go every couple.
Yeah, we go. That's, yeah. Give him a kid, I'm an old guy.
Yeah.
You know, I met Dave.
Well, he knocked on your door and said.
Yeah, he's our backyard neighbors.
We were throwing a party and she said, keep it down.
Yeah.
Who do you think you are, Bob Fulton?
Probably the other way around.
You got notes?
Dave, the older you get, the louder
You
your
read
TV
it?
gets.
You know what you're doing. Okay.
So we're waiting for the phone call from the neighbors.
We don't have to pay for cable because we can watch yours.
There you go. Yeah, we can get a remote screen and,
We
well,
just
we
have
don't
to
have to pay
porch.
either.
Sit back porch and watch the game.
Yeah, we stream everything.
That's
We don't have cable.
No, we appreciate
Is
that.
this yours? It's always on my name.
We just stream a little USB cable across the yard.
Big hands, right up the list. Ta-da, over there. Yeah, look at this, affordable.
Right on time.
Do we need Steve?
I guess we don't need him. We move forward if you want to start.
Sensitive. One more minute. Oh, gotcha, sir.
So Paul didn't make it.
Also make it.
I thought he was gonna call in.
He was going to, but then he realized there's a time difference between where we are and where he is now. And decided he can't. make
Like a
it.
large time difference.
He's in Germany. No.
Okay, let's call the meeting to order at 3 P M. Start with the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay.
Roll call.
Welcome.
Chairman Bendor,
Here.
Mr. Fulton,
Here.
Mrs. Parks,
Here,
Mr. Lund.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay. Recognition of visitors, we have one more signing in right now. Why don't we start in the back?
Dave Vining, Shadow Ridge, Ports Court.
Amanda Caesar, 55 Granite.
Who's that guy?
That's Leanne.
He's also, same address.
Yeah, well, I just worked with town parks and streets division.
Okay.
Nadine Peterson. Oh, do I give my address or?
It's, yes, please.
Okay, 312 South Fourth.
Chuck Yago, 310 South Fifth.
Old Town. Okay, Next on the item is approval of minutes. Do I have a motion?
Approve minutes as presented.
I'll second that.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Old business is none. New business, actually is a change of zoning issue, so that requires a public hearing. So at this point, I'm going to, open the public hearing. And it's for the consideration of recommending to the Board of Trustees. The commission doesn't approve anything, we just recommend. The possible rezoning of lot 6 in Shadow Ridge from highway commercial to single family residence. So I'm gonna read some of the following things. We are a statutory town. And so that means that we are governed, at least in part, by Colorado law. And so we're following the procedures that are set down in the Colorado revised statutes. So this is about a hearing disclosure statement. The criteria which must be satisfied for approval for this action are listed in the town staff report. Melanie is going to cover those.
You declared that the public hearing is open,
I did that,
did you?
but thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. She's gonna keep me out of trouble, possibly. Public testimony must be directed at those criteria that Melanie will state, or other criteria in our land use regulation, but it's just gonna be 3 criteria that is in our Title 10 regulations. Failure to raise an issue accompanied by statements or evidence sufficient to afford the planning commission and the parties an opportunity to respond to the issue precludes an appeal based on that issue. And if you're an attorney, you understand that, but only if you're an attorney. Prior to the conclusion of this hearing, any participant may request an opportunity to present additional evidence, arguments, or testimony. The commission will decide whether the hearing will be continued to another date or whether the record will be left open for at least 7 days. And we'll get to that a little bit later. We're going to follow this following order. There'll be a planning staff report by Melanie. Applicant's testimony. Applicant is not here, so that may not happen. Then we're going to ask members of the audience to speak to the proposal. And then there's a potential of the applicant's rebuttal, but he's not in presence here. At that point, we'll close the public hearing and open it up for discussion amongst the commission members. So Melanie, would you like to start? What do we got?
Sure, I'll start with the applicant. The application is from, is that what you want me to do or do the zoning first?
Yeah, either way,
Okay.
you do it, whatever you want to do.
The application is from Bravo Property Management that owns that lot number 6. And the application states, would beg to change lot number 6, Shadow Ridge PUD from highway business to single family residential and divide to 2 half-acre lots. It is not on the highway and surrounded by residential. It has been advertised as commercial for years with no demand. The lot does not border the highway. Please advise if more is needed. And then if we go to the amendment zoning map rezoning. This is Title 10(1)-11. Declaration of policy and standards for rezoning. For the purposes of establishing and maintaining sound, stable, and desirable development within the town of Westcliff, the rezoning of land is to be discouraged and allowed only under certain circumstances as provided hereafter. This policy is based on the opinion of the Board of Trustees that the town's zoning map is the result of a detailed and comprehensive appraisal of the town's present and future needs regarding land use allocation, and as such, should not be amended unless to correct a manifest error or because of changed or changing conditions in a particular area of the town in general. Rezoning shall only be allowed if the applicant demonstrates by clear and convincing evidence that rezoning is necessary because of one or more of the following reasons. Number one, the land to be rezoned was zoned in error and as presently zoned is inconsistent with the policies and goals of the town's master plan. Two, the area for which rezoning is requested has changed or is changing to such a degree that it is in the public interest to encourage a redevelopment of the area or new approach to development. Three, the proposed rezoning is necessary in order to provide land for a community-related use which was not anticipated at the time of the adoption of the town's master plan, and that such rezoning will be consistent with the policies and goals of the master plan.
Thank you.
You want
Is that all?
you want me to read B? Procedure for amendments in general. The Board of Trustees may, on its own motion, on application of any person or persons in interest, and upon receiving recommendation of the Planning Commission, amend, supplement, or repeal the regulations and provisions of this chapter, including the zoning map, provided that where land is sought to be rezoned on an application of any person or persons in interest, the applicant shall have a controlling record title ownership interest in the subject property as demonstrated by an ownership and encumbrance report or title insurance commitment issued within 30 days of submission of the application. Also, an intended purchaser may make application if the purchase of the subject property is contingent on the amendment. The application, you want me to?
No.
Okay.
I think the important thing are the three reasons that property might be rezoned. So let's, since we don't have an applicant here to speak for it,
So did we hear anything from the applicant?
just that application.
Just this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to open it up to members of the audience to speak about what they think about this rezoning application. Does anybody have anything to say? And if so, come up to the podium and
State your name.
state your name.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You went, oh,
Please proceed.
good afternoon, Dave Vining. So I think it's evident, the character of the neighborhood is single-family residence. If you can drive through the neighborhood, you see it's a neighborhood with single-family residences. There's plenty of commercial space just outside the neighborhood, and there's still commercial lots available. I believe the town needs housing. We're in a housing crisis in North Colorado. More housing will create, it's basically a domino effect. If you relieve some of that kind of housing, you will allow other people to have other kinds of housing. So more housing, the better. We're in a crisis. Whatever we can do in small measure to help that, I think is a good idea.
You're for it, then.
I'm for it, yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
That's all I have to say. Thank you.
And Melanie, just stay here for a second. You were going to read the uses, right?
Sure, yes.
But I have a question. For today's discussion, we're just talking about rezoning. We're not talking about a lot split.
Correct. We're not talking about a lot, so this would have to be done first and then.
Then, yes,
Oh, okay, we can't do both at the same time.
but we might want to discuss both at the same time. Okay,
And that's what you're referring to. Well,
Yeah, I'm referring to actually both. I think we need more housing. And we need more housing for everybody. People that want to live in that neighborhood, people that are moving up from other smaller housing situations into that neighborhood. It just relieves pressure all across the board. And I think to the extent that we can help people get homes up here across all income levels and all kind of wealth levels, the better. So I'm all for it.
okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Amanda Caesar, 55 Granite Court. I'm not saying I'm for or against, but I just wanted to bring up that Shadow Ridge does have CCNRs, so the covenants, conditions and restrictions. And in there, it does state that no lot will be re-subdivided, no subdivisions of the lot. That is, Article 2.2. And then it also says if there's any changes to the CCNRs, it is required that 67% of the community vote for or against the change. So that's all I wanted to bring
I read
up.
that as well, thank you.
Is there a homeowners association?
There's not a
Shadow Ridge?
homeowners association. No, there's not. So it's just up to the individual to go to the individual lot owners and get the 67%. And then if he does not, then there is an individual homeowner that within Shadow Ridge that can contest his result. So just wanted to bring that up.
I think, and tell me if this is correct, the town doesn't get involved with enforcing CCNRs.
We do not.
However, in the original development agreement, it does preclude any lot split. That was separate from the CCNRs.
So I guess that would come up then, John, that in the future, means we're not gonna do the split today. And that issue would come up at that point. And the way I read it is I'm assuming that we would have to rezone it first. And then once that happens, then it can go and split it.
That's,
If 67% of the homeowners.
Yeah.
Say, listen, that's okay.
yes. Any other public comment?
Actually, do you mind if I can get a clarification?
Yeah.
You said that the CCNR covers no zoning changing as well as lot splits?
Yeah, so it says, so Article 2.2, which says maximum number of lots on the project and uses 109. Re-subdivisions, no lot shall be re-subdivided. And then in
But specifically on the zoning part, I guess is what.
yep, it is Article 4.2 amendment, the declaration or of any provision of it may be amended at any time by owners owning not less than 67% of the lots. No amendment to these covenants shall change uses or boundaries authorized within the subdivision unless first approved by the town. So the town has to approve and then the community has to approve as well.
Okay,
It's a change of use.
so we're not gonna get involved, but we have to make our decision before we can not get involved with their decision.
Yeah.
That's clear.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Nadine Peterson, 312 South Fourth. I'm late to the party here, but the agenda says lots 3 and 6, but we're just talking about 6 right now.
Yes, the party who wanted to change lot 6 withdrew her application.
Okay.
3.
All right. And how big is this lot? I mean, can it possibly be subdivided into more little lots?
So
So
if you
how
look,
big is it and
One,
what's gonna happen?
so I'm gonna pull in.
it's 1 acre according to what he said in his application. That sound right?
Yeah, it's a little, I think it's.
I think it's more than 1 acre.
Let me just-
It says in the application, 2.5 acre lots.
No.
He wants,
So it's a 2.5
it
acre.
says residential and divide to 2 or 2.5 acre lots.
Yeah.
Never mind.
So-
So
so it'd be-
2.5 acres makes
Yeah.
1
It's
acre.
1.09 acres.
So our current zoning by 50 by 125, how much is that in acres space?
It's
Way less.
Way less than that, okay.
Yeah.
So to her question, then it could technically probably be divided up into more,
Yes.
technically, but that's not what he's asking for.
One house, okay.
Any other public comment? Okay. Now I ask the best question here. If any member of the commission has a personal bias or conflict of interest, they shall declare it now.
That would be me.
Okay.
That would be I.
Yeah. Okay.
Since I live there.
Okay. now it's time for the commission to have a discussion and ask any questions of staff.
Well, according to 1, 2, and 3, number 2, I guess, probably fits, I'm sorry, I forgot your name.
David,
gentleman,
yeah.
David. His argument, the best, is that it's changed to such a degree where it's really only gone to single-family residential.
Yes,
Best argument I've heard in that regard. I still am concerned, though, that we would be run or bumped up against the spot zoning. Which we are not allowed to do. Now, if that is a good enough argument for that, I'm cool with it, I guess. My argument against what his other point was, is I think he's got a valid point. We do need more housing, yes. But he has got plenty of empty lots also that have, the pressure's just not there. Not to say it is an invalid point, it's just, I disagree with the nuance of it. So, but I do agree with the other point.
that there's a community value to having more residential lots. We just went through a process here. We currently have 177 vacant residential lots in the town footprint. Which is not to say that your argument is invalid. There's a community value. I would say that not only number 2, but looking at that particular lot, it's surrounded on most of its perimeter by open space. And then it has street frontage, and across the street are single-family residential lots, actual homes at this point in time. So at the very western end of that lot, it does butt up against a highway fronting commercial property. And I think that's where your concern is.
But it is a valid point, though, that it itself isn't on the highway.
No, it is not on the highway.
So we could
You could,
go under the argument that that was zoned in error.
yes, I think you could say it was not the best decision to have that be a commercial property.
And John, I'll share with you, I talked to a neighbor that was around, and I don't remember when that was done. But I don't remember all the details because I was living in the county, but he said that at that point, the town was wanting the commercial to move back to East Road. That's why the commercial stuff,
Okay,
that's why they got zoned, commercially. And then later on, then they said, well, let's move down here. I guess they chicken crossed the road or something. So anyway, so that's how that came that way. And so, and you as a resident, I guess they intended that maybe that would be your local restaurant or coffee shop or whatever it may be. So I agree with what you're saying, John, is the fact that it's totally surrounded by, red residents. And so, so the only commercial, keep it on the highway because it's its own highway commercial.
Now, in the same regard, though, there is another commercial lot that is an oddity in that area. Is that below?
5 and 1 are 2 commercial lots on Deweese Road.
Okay. 3 and 4 is what?
4 is, that's
the
already
same
has a
size.
structure on it, that's where that,
That's got a structure on it and it's commercial.
no,
No, it's
it's resident.
No, it's commercial.
Yeah.
it's
That's
commercial.
yours? The
It's-
gold roof thing?
Yeah.
Yep, that's mine, it's
Yeah.
commercial, so
It's 2
lot
through
3, 4, and then you have 2, but you can't see 2 on this map.
Right,
So
so 1 through 6 are commercial, you're
1
right,
through 6
you're
are
right.
commercial.
And that's what they had in the original covenants.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are kind of, to use that as an argument, we're kind of going against what we already have wisdom to. So there's a precedence. I don't know how good of an argument that is.
So, yeah, so maybe that, I have no idea, number 3, which would have been, if we change that to residential, then it would be totally surrounded by commercial.
Commercial.
Right, and that's
Yeah,
the one that drew, so.
so,
It's
so
still
number
2 through
3
6
really
then.
looks like spot zoning, had that been on the table still.
Yeah, I mean. I guess I don't know where the, that line of spot zoning, I mean, this, these 3 points set the line up somewhat, but would the other line, or would you be able to argue that if you did more than 1 lot at a time by different owners, could that get away from spot zoning as well? Because you're doing a swath as opposed to an individual spot.
Right.
But since they withdrew, I guess that's not something we can apply anyway.
It's off the table, but we would have definitely been talking about spot zoning for that particular lot.
Right?
The other thought I had, just looking at this, just to make it really clean and separate from, if we were to rezone that property, is to, and I'm not gonna vote on that until we vote on rezoning, but if you split that into 3 lots, and had, and then just devoted one of the lots that's adjacent to the commercial lot, to open space, which then gives you access, walking access from across the street into that open area, then that would completely separate it. It would not touch a commercial property.
But you're basically asking the lot owner to give up property to the open space then.
I'm saying
Donate it away.
that might be, and maybe it's, just a 20-foot strip, but, that, my understanding is, and that's why I asked about, was there a sales brochure from the beginning of this development? There was gonna be a clubhouse in that open area. There was gonna be a trail system. In fact, there's an easement for a trail system. But there was gonna be a trail system through the open space.
What is lot number 2?
2 is the same as,
It's commercial?
Yes, and there
Okay,
is,
then lot, was that 7 or what's
Right.
next to 2?
7 is not, 7 is part of the next lots. 7 through 9, 12, and 13 shall be limited to the following uses, which is residential.
Residential, okay, and then
It used-
above,
used to be multifamily, got changed to residential.
above 5 and 6, what do we have?
So these are all residential.
All residential, okay, so that would be consistent then that between residential and commercial, there is
Yeah.
a public space from what I'm seeing here anyway. I don't know if that, is that. That's not a rule, that's just a justification. What we're
No,
thinking of.
that's just a random thought at this point in time.
Yeah.
Well, we do have a commercial operation and building lot 4 already there, which is pretty deep in the subdivision. So there's I don't think there's any reason to make any changes there.
Right, but they're contiguous though. And that's the justification in that 1, 3, and 4 are all commercial currently.
Yes,
It's deep, 4 is deep in, but it's contiguous with the rest, so
Yes.
it's.
yes. And it's already actively a commercial property.
Right,
And it has that buffer zone between 4 and 74.
right.
If you're referring to.
Yeah,
one south, scrolled up, please, along the fairgrounds there, aren't those all commercial too?
No, not all of them.
Some of them are, aren't they?
No,
Can you zoom in, Ellen?
This,
Like going,
So 2, 7, 8, 9.
2 is commercial, 7 is is residential. And you can see there's an easement,
right, I see that.
yeah.
I thought when we were discussing about 12 and 13, about the multifamily thing, that when we looked at it, that they were commercial down, all those ones right along.
No, so 7, 8, 9, 12, and 13 originally were multifamily. And the developer changed them
Oh, that's okay, you're
to
right.
single family, when he had ownership of 70% of the lots,
That's right, okay.
or they had.
Because there's already homes on there, correct? I think
On some of them, yes.
7 and 10 have homes on them.
they do, okay. Thank you. Yeah, okay. So,
Any,
it ain't easy, is it?
any further discussion?
Well, I think we should consider changing Title 10 to say they should have their 67% before it even comes to us, because they're spending $600 for that application.
yeah,
They should have a good idea if the community would even let them before they spend that $600.
that
There's
should be on a different agenda though.
I agree. I'm not saying,
Yeah.
I'm not saying we're gonna decide that. I'm just bringing that up as a point,
that's
that the order is a little.
Yeah. The order, yes. This is my understanding for CCNRs, that they're only enforceable if you have a mandatory HOA. In other words, everybody's paying dues. If you don't have a mandatory HOA, then you have a voluntary HOA, then they're only enforceable for the homeowners that agree to be a member of the voluntary HOA.
According to the interwebs right now, they are still valid.
Yeah.
The trick is they go to court as opposed to,
Right,
it's not that it's immediately enforceable. It has to be fought out in court.
the town does not enforce CCNRs, right? That's just something that we don't get involved in. So, we have a couple of choices here. We can just table this for a later date. Or we can vote to recommend to the trustees that the zoning be changed. Would anybody like to make a motion?
No. Not
You want to table it? I guess the one thing is I'd like to see from Clay what he thinks about spot zoning under these conditions. I personally don't have a problem with it because I think 2 criteria it fits.
I do too.
But yes,
If you're thinking about making a motion, you should close the public hearing first.
okay.
Thank you. I'm officially closing the public hearing, and now it's a conversation amongst the planning commission.
Thank you. One question I had, initially, when this first came to us, when we had to cancel last month, wasn't there a person on that application also made an application? Because they were gonna buy contingent upon buying the house, was that on?
That was for lot 3.
That was on 3,
Mhm.
okay, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
And then one thing concerns me is how come the applicant's not here? I would think that at $600 invested, and we'll make sure
It was canceled last month, I know. I think he was planning on being there then, but we did notice him, so I don't,
And there's nobody online.
just, no. This was-
Okay, I'm going to make a motion that we recommend to the trustees that lot 7
Six.
six. See, my glasses are not working well enough to see the map. Lot 6 be rezoned to single-family residential. And that
List the criteria.
based on criteria 1 and 2. And that the matter of lot splits be tabled until that is approved by the trustees.
So moving it from highway commercial to single family.
Yes, should be part of it.
Is there a second?
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? No? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
And poor Leslie doesn't even get to vote.
One abstain.
Okay,
Motion carried.
motion carried. Very good. Any further public comment before we adjourn? Dave, what do you got?
Yeah, it seems like a hard decision, and I think you guys are doing a great job. So thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Well, if I may ask you guys, what do you think about the order that we, is this common that we do it in this kind of backwards order? And what do you think? I mean, wouldn't it make more sense that if you're gonna spend your money, you wanna have an idea that your neighbors are gonna be on board?
My opinion, they may have not known that that was a requirement of the CCNRs. When I bought lot 4 and started to build, there was a shock and awe that went through Shadow Ridge because 99% of them did not realize lots 1 through 7 were commercial.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people got concerned with that. If you read the CCNRs and what's allowed on the commercial lots, it could be very concerning for a lot of the people in the community, which is completely understandable. I think out of all of commercial options, I think I'm low threat because I'm just a warehouse. So there's really nothing crazy going on at my house. But for Mrs. Parks, I know that lot's right across from you. To have a hotel or a gas station or a movie theater is not ideal. So I believe, just knowing some of the community members, like yourself, we probably would agree to change that for the simple fact of, it is next to Mrs. Parks, the sheriff. And then what can go there is very concerning. So I think, being one person from the community, even though I do have a commercial lot, I do believe most of the community would agree to change it. Do you second that?
Yeah, I think what you did was really great. You kind of walked around and got consensus with the community. You showed people what you're gonna do. It's a very good looking barn dominium basically. And you're a local business owner and you're adding to the community. And I think everyone thought it was a big add. But there was a discussion and it was very respectful, like canvassing of the neighborhood, which is probably a pain for you,
Took us 8 weeks.
And everything hanging in the balance, you have these plans, and then all of a sudden the pitchforks and the torches come out, and you have to, ease their concerns. So I think, I mean, either way, I think I could argue probably, the order of operations here, I could probably argue both ways. And,
Well, I mean, the way that it's stated now is that this is the way it needs to be done. Because we make our motion, then it goes back to your community. And then the person just finds out whether or not it was worth spending the $600
it doesn't necessarily go back to the community though.
They have a CCNR though, so it does in their case.
But
Yeah,
let me,
but somebody has to reach out to every lot owner to do that, and there's no HOA. If there was a mandatory HOA, that would have been the first place to go. Because they would be enforcing a CCNRs. And you've got an organization that has standing. And now you just have 107 property owners, or whatever it is. So, there's no procedure that says that the applicant has to go and get 67% of the votes.
There's just a risk. The risk is that someone would sue them.
That's the risk.
That's the risk that the applicant would have to bear.
But according to the rules, even though that's not technically enforceable, the court would probably lean in favor of the CCNR. Because they still hold, because the property was purchased under those conditions. So there is still validity to the CCNR.
Yeah.
It's not a complete wash, but it's just, yes, it's a risk.
The applicant can take the time and expense to reach out and get 67% of the votes. I don't think anybody, I think you probably get that percentage of votes.
Yeah, I understand. It's just, it still seems, the order of it still seems a bit twisted, because if it comes to us first,
As
we're not gonna reach out
as
and
Clay
ask for that
says,
permission.
Clay's our town attorney, it's messy.
It's messy.
The fact that we
Well,
have
this town is messy.
yeah.
well, may I just say, when I had this problem, I was on the Cuerno Verde board.
Are you allowed to talk?
Well, I just not about Shadow Ridge,
Okay,
but just about zoning in particular and covenants for HOAs.
yes,
The town of West Cliff, I was told by the town, they may override any covenant that they so choose.
I don't think that's correct, actually.
I was told that. Now, that maybe I'm wrong, but they said you can do all the voting you want in an HOA, but if the town decides to rezone it, that's what will happen.
Well, and they're not an HOA, you guys aren't an HOA anymore, so that's.
You have to be
I
registered with the
doubt
state.
if that's true on face value. There's a process that would have to be gone through. But we're in the process of working with Clay to understand that process, because we've got more than one PUD that's in the same situation without a homeowners association, so there's really no one to talk to. Any other public comment, Nadine?
What about those signs, the rezoning or, this lot is subject to rezoning notice?
So notice the signs we put up that
Who
notice,
puts those up?
and then we send a letter to everybody within 200 feet.
Yeah.
So can you answer that?
Sure. That's just public notice to let people know that we're having the hearing. Just to let people know what's happening today, so if they wanna show up, they can.
And that was already done?
Okay.
That's all.
All
So
right.
the who, I think, is just the town.
Yes.
The town, it's our
That's what
responsibility to
this-
notice
the fees
owners
go
and people
forward.
doers within 200 feet.
Okay.
600.
If there's no further public comment, do I have a motion
I
to
have a
adjourn?
question on
Yes,
that.
Chuck.
Question on order, what's the minimum number of people for a quorum for this group? Four? Well, if she
She can make
abstained,
the quorum, but she can't do discussion or vote.
okay, never mind.
But yes, good question.
Rescinded.
Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
We adjourn.
I motion to adjourn.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Look at that, good meeting.
John, what's the plan for the Wet Mountain Valley outdoors?
Thanks for joining the club.
Yes, we should talk about that.
So,
Yeah, right there.
I want to get in front of